Your Lane with Coach Trishana.
You log in, I see me.
Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through whatever you've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't that.
Okay.
So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your will looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your lane talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your lane talk show with Coach Trishana.
Hello, and welcome everyone to your Lane Talk Show with your girl, Coach Trishana. It is so good to have me in your hearing today. And I want to say happy November. This is our first Sunday in November, and we are shooting out the gate. We're doing big things today. All right, I'm broadcasting live from the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas to our international listeners, because we have a few. And if you're joining me for the first time, we want you to know that this show was created to educate, empower, and encourage women of all ages. Last month, we were focusing on building and restoring healthy marriages. A little of that is spilling over today in today's show as I encourage all wives, fiancés, girlfriends, those who want to be girlfriend, those who have a crush on law enforcement officers to tune in. Not the sweethearts. We don't want the sweethearts tuning in today. Not today. Today ain't your show. All right. You may want to learn a thing or two because we have with us we're supposed to have three, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, one of our guests is unable to be here today. But we have two beautiful, excited women, wives, mothers who are ready to share things that they have been through and their journey and their experience of being a wife of a law enforcement officer. So, Your Lane, episode 28. Life of a Law Enforcement Officer is brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Lowe's Wholesale, Your Lane Life Coaching, Family Medicine Center, Fusion, Superplex, Jarai's Babysitting Services, Young King's Barber Studio, and Lorraine's Intimates. Hey. My predictions of emotions today for this episode are 90% serious aha moments, but 10% laughter. I'm not going to give any percentage on teardrops because I don't think nobody crying today. But the two guests that I have here today done had me laughing. We haven't even started the show yet, and they had me laughing. So if you want to, you can tune in to Your Lane Talk Show on Facebook if you want to see who these beautiful women are, for those who may be listening on air. They're so beautiful. They're so excited. They're so ready to share. You could watch us live. You can also tune in to Star 106 FM's Facebook page, or you can listen to us on channel 976 on cable. You can view the past shows on YouTube. Just look up Coach Trishana. And when you do so, please like and subscribe. I'm inviting my audience to feel free to call in at any time throughout the show. You're going to have a reason to call anyway, because all we have is giveaways today. All kind of giveaways. 3288164 is the number to call. 3288164. Listen, my law enforcement officers, my police officers, my prison officers, they call them Bahamas Correctional Services officers. They ain't just prison officers. You know that, right? Okay.
Yes.
My defense force officers, my immigration officers, customs officers, and anyone else I'm missing. Y'all, please help me out because I don't know them all. But I want y'all to tune in today, you and your wives. If you don't have a wife, that's okay. Still tune in because you need to learn something. Enter to win one of 5 dental cleanings. Purchase $10 or more any Listerine products and WhatsApp your receipt to 6120. It's as simple as that. That's you get to win something if you purchase it. You don't have to purchase at Lowe's, but it'll be a bonus if you do so. Any of Listerine products, $10 or more. Take a picture, send a receipt, WhatsApp it to 326-6120 for a chance to win 1 out of 5 dental cleanings, courtesy of Lowe's Wholesale. Representing today are our police officer and defense force officers' wives today. I am sorry that the Bahamas Corrections Officer is unable to join us today. But if you are a Bahamas Corrections Officer's wife and you want to call the show and say a thing or two, go right ahead. I will open the lines just for you. All right. My first guest is Mrs. Charlene McPhee Johnson. She came from humble beginnings. This 39-year-old teacher, Lord, 39, I thought she was 25. But anyway.
I know, right?
This 39-year-old teacher grew up in a home with strong church leaders, which has greatly impacted her lifestyle. Her drive, ambition, and empathy gives her the social tools she needs to connect, bridge, and share experience with all whom she encountered. Her husband of 10 years, McNeil Valentino Johnson, the whole government name,
That's right.
is a sergeant of police in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. He is attached to the Governor's Harbor Police Station in Luther Division. Now, be mindful, now she here. And he attached to Luther. I can't wait there, sorry. He has dedicated thus far 21 years of service to his country in Dulcita. They have 3 beautiful children. And our second guest is Mrs. Siobhan Smith, wife to Force Chief Terrence I. Smith of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. He's been on the Defense Force and serving for 24 years.
37 years.
Well, that's the number you give me.
We've been married for 24 years.
Okay, Defense
Yes,
Force. I see
yes.
24 years. Yeah, I see the years for the service then.
Right.
I'm sorry. So
No
correct me,
problem.
ma'am.
37 years.
Been serving the force for 37 years. Salute you, sir. Salute you, sir. Chief Smith has been serving. Yes, okay. Yes, I do see where that is missing right there. And they have 3 beautiful girls together. Correct?
Yes, we
And
do.
so I welcome my 2 guests for today. And guess what? Our second guest, Mrs. Angel Roll, she's actually WhatsApping me some of her answers to the questions that I'll be asking you today. And I'm getting some feedback from Facebook feeds that they're seeing the flyer only and not us. It's just some feedback that I'm getting, okay? Just press refresh, I was told, for those who are watching from Facebook. All right, thank you so much. So ladies, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank
Good
you so
evening.
much. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, I want to break the ice real quick, and I want to start by just briefly. Now, there's always 3 sides of the story. All right. Now, the question I want to ask is how you met. How did y'all meet? You and your husband. How y'all meet? It's your side, it's his
Okay.
side, and it's the truth. Now, you would give me a little bit of his side and your side too, because you know every time you hear someone tell a story and they say it together, someone off. No, it ain't like that. Yes,
Okay.
it's like that. You was wearing a red shirt. No, I was wearing a green shirt. So tell me briefly and to you all, how did you meet your husband? Let's start with Siobhan.
Okay, it all started at the fish fry. I love Kong salad, and every Saturday I went out to the fish fry to get Kong salad. This particular day, a friend of mine, we went. I said, well, I don't have any clothes, so I'm gonna give you the money. You go and get the Kong salad. So I'm sitting in the car waiting. A friend of mine came over. He started to talk with me. So I'm talking to this guy. There comes this tall, handsome fella while I am talking to another guy and says to me, hello, my name is Terrence. So I said, hi, how are you? And he intimidated the young man, and then the young man who I was talking to initially just walked off.
Ooh.
So we had a conversation, and I really didn't take him serious because I was like, boy, he is bold, because I've never had a guy. I am talking to another guy, and then you come and introduce yourself to me. So I was like, wow, that had me shocked for a minute. And we started talking. I gave him my number, and he was very persistent because he kept calling me, and I was like, these Defense Force guys, they like a lot of women, and he probably was just trying to, take me out that night. But it didn't work that way. This gentleman that I've been married to for 24 years has been so, so great to me. He is that person that is my soulmate.
Mm.
And I'm happy that I met him at the fish fry.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, Chief Smith or Chief Terrence, you're bold. All right, you're bold. One of my Facebook said you roll him right out. Yes, sir, you roll him out. Because let me tell you something, I don't know, and this is not a question I'm going to ask about the stigma, but I don't know if all defense force officers or all law enforcement officers is as bold and brazen like that. All right, but for him to just walk up on you while you already have somebody you was talking to and y'all were talking, he just come up, listen, I guess, the man know what he want.
Well, he said, when I left the next day, he said, when I saw you that first time, I know you were going to be my wife.
There you go. Claim your things, man. Claim your things. So, Mrs. Johnson, let's hear you, Charlene. How did you meet?
Well, it's very interesting that you talked about the boldness.
Mm-hmm.
I met my husband, my sister took me on a trip, a much needed trip to Lutheran on vacation. And upon arriving on the island, they had this festival called the Bay Fest. And it was it's a lot of people and a lot going on. And it was my first time, but I visited the island regularly. However, going there, I needed a break. When women, I was single, I needed a break, needed a new scenery. So I went there, cut my hair off, had it bleached red. I was like, I'm
feeling yourself.
Feel myself.
I got you.
All right. So having a good time, been on it was about 3 days, the festivities. And upon the third day, the last day was a beach picnic, August 1st. Never forget. And we were in the water having fun. Everyone just gathered. And I saw this tall, dark guy playing beach football. And I'm like, well, I didn't really come here to mingle like that. This is a girl's trip. My sister took me on. And so funny. While in the water, he approaches me and started talking to me. I was watching you all weekend. I'm like, from where? Because I surely didn't see you. He was like, yeah, you went in the shop. I saw you there. So I said, let's just pause right there. If you're not into anything serious, don't waste my time.
Cool. Just like that.
Just like that.
Okay.
And from then, I had to catch the boat a few hours later. And from that moment, we conversated. And back then, it was MSN Messenger. Yeah. So we spoke and we talked, and the rest is history.
Wow.
From then, he said no one has ever told him and been that demanding to him to say, if you're not serious, don't waste my time. And from then, it's been business.
Oh.
Okay.
Listen, they must see these law enforcement officers. So it can't just be the police and it can't just be the defense force. It's something in their water. It got to be something in their water.
In their training.
I did not give my husband. I only told him where I worked. I never gave him my number. But when I met him that night, the following morning, I worked from home at that time, and the receptionist from where I work transferred the call to me. I'm sorry, this is somebody on the phone that I need to speak with you urgently.
Wow.
Never gave him the number from where, I just said I work. So I guess he typed it up and said, hi, this is your friend here. You know what I mean? I'm like,
a real investigator.
But I was fluttering ever since. I mean, and that's history. Yeah. All right. That's a long story, so I have to do it as short as possible.
Right.
But let me tell you something about men. When they see what they want, they go after it.
Right, exactly.
All right. I don't know if it's just law enforcement officers, men like that. The brazen one, they biggity because they biggity and they, whatever. But they got it. All right. When they want it, they get it. This is my next question. This is my last icebreaker. How did he propose? Let's go.
I don't remember. Yes, I do. Wow. We went for dinner over to Atlantis and he proposed. And I believe I had an idea that it was going to happen. So it wasn't like a big surprise for me because I knew that he had already committed to me. He was already in love with me and it was no turning back with him. Like he wanted me to be his wife and he did whatever it took. He changed whatever he had to do to be that person that I desired.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
That is beautiful. Let's give her a round of
You sure we have no test?
I don't know. Let's go. So how did they propose?
Well, to be honest, there was not a proposal. We sat down, we had conversations, serious conversations, and then he simply said, "You know what? You're my wife." And I said, "Well, we would have to do some counseling before we get to that."
Okay.
I believe strictly and strongly. And we went to marriage counseling, and afterwards we took a trip, and my dad blessed the rings, and that was our engagement.
That was it. Listen, I didn't
Awesome.
man already know what he wanted.
Yes.
He didn't say, "Listen, you my wife."
Yes.
Propose just like that.
Yeah.
But I got
Exactly.
proposed to at the police ball, y'all.
Wow.
Yes, but I had, because he was so nervous, his hand was shaking. He was, he was doing little hints and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, everyone's gonna congratulate you today." And I was like, "Why is everybody gonna congratulate me?" This is, of course, 15 years ago, going on 16 now. 16
Okay.
years ago. But yes, he proposed at the police ball. We were just taking pictures. You take your pictures before you go in.
Yeah, right,
And,
right.
As he was taking the pictures, this is another reason why I knew this was a blow. The photographer said, "Can you show the ring?" I was like, "What ring?" So by the time I was like, so by the time I asked for the ring, he was ready on his knees. And,
Wow. Nice.
Once again, that's
Nice.
history. All right, so let's talk. Let's get to some meat. And my first question: do you feel as if defense force, and I think you already started saying this, defense force officers and correctional officers, police officers, have a stigma about them, especially when it comes to relationships?
Right. Yes, definitely. I experienced that even with family members when I introduced them to my friend at the time. They were like, "Wow, these defense force officers, they're not serious. They're not interested in having a monogamous relationship and all that other stuff that we hear about." And what I would say to that is, you can't allow one or several bad apples to make the entire force, to make them as everybody is the same as the bad apples.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not saying that they aren't. They are defense force officers who are very much promiscuous, unfaithful, and all the rest of that. But if you find a good one, you had better keep him.
Okay. All right. So now, as a police force, a police wife, a cop wife, both of us are. We
Yes.
heard the stories.
Oh,
we
yes.
heard all the time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, even with you speaking, when people speak in general, they say, "Oh, the baddest that walking is police officer."
Oh.
And,
Yeah.
I never thought that I would have ever married a police officer in my life.
Yeah.
And then to have family members as well, have married them, I'm like, "Oh, you sure we know who's doing it?" I'm too sure. But anyway, to the stigma, yes, we hear it all the time, because there are women who literally would say, "Boy, I'd date anyone in a uniform." And I've heard it myself out of the mouths of women. I'm like, really? And I guess it's the power and the uniform, the look, the clean look. And I hope they know what all comes along with that.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
power.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So, but listen, there's somebody that asked, Siobhan,
Yeah.
was the person at the time, your husband at the time, was he wearing his uniform?
No,
Question
not at
that was
all.
asked. Okay.
No.
So to that
I didn't even know that he
Facebook,
was
he
the
was not
defense
wearing a
force
uniform.
officer.
All right. And okay, so what was the experience like the first year of being a wife to a defense force and police officer? Let's start with Siobhan.
I would say it was great. We had lots of new challenges, but we were able to overcome them. We had our daughter, and she was a blessing. And we were just settling in, living with each other and learning that his likes, and he's learning my likes and dislikes. So the first year was pretty good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Sorry, Angel. Just Angel Roll is the prison officer's wife, and she's actually sending in some other
Okay.
answers. So I was just trying to read through them. Go ahead, Charlene. Who's your life experience?
The first
Go ahead.
year as a police officer's wife, it was peaks and valleys, to be honest with you. You know, my husband is a policeman by heart. He's not just the uniform. He is a police. He loves his job. He is the job, if you ask me. And a part of what we struggled with in the first year was him turning off that military mindset once he came home, because I came from a very spiritual family who were very emotional. And, you know, when they out there working, policing, having to deal with criminals, and, you know, because he originally was attached to the Carmichael Road Police Station, and then he went into the mobile station. And, you know, first responders, they see and they hear and they have to do and beyond. So sometimes he would come home with like a burden, and I'm like, took some getting used to, especially with me. We had I had a son before the marriage. So all of that, working that together in the first year, bringing it all together, it was, like I said, peaks and valleys, getting to know each other, first time living together, knowing when to turn off, when to turn on. I as an educator, you know, he would tell me, don't bring your work home. I would say, let's try you not to bring it either. Let's see if we can check it at the door.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a learning experience, because there's a lot I did not know.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot I did not know, and a lot that I'm still learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's true.
so it was rough, but like I said, it made me stronger as a person. Because, you know, being a wife, period, is a learning experience.
Okay.
Whether they are police, defense
Doctor,
force,
it
doctor,
does not
lawyer,
matter.
pastor,
Yes.
it don't matter.
Yes.
It's a lot being a
Okay.
wife.
So I'm going to read something from Angel Rule. Once again, she is the wife of the prison officer, or Bahamas Correctional officer. You know, she said, "Well, my first experience was more or less interesting, to be able to be on the inside and actually see the inner workings of officers, their musician life." So I'm assuming that her husband, as a police prison officer, he's also in the band. Okay, the time, practice, and effort that is out into performances, the stress for the higher ups that make their job more difficult, and most importantly, the unfair treatment towards them. Pull up. Okay. All right. So that's okay. Well, she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
She's telling her truth.
Yes.
All right. Now, have you discussed his goals for his career? Because she said something just now. She said that the stress for the higher ups that make their job more difficult. I think she's saying from the higher ups that make their job more difficult, right? Do you understand fully what their roles are? And have you discussed it with them, with your husband?
Well, during the years that we've been married, it has been a learning curve, simply because it's an adjustment to deal with their job, because, you know, they have an obligation to the country, which is their job, and they have an obligation to us. However, you know, my husband's been on the force now for 37 years. So at this point in our marriage, he's looking towards, you know, retirement very soon. So in terms of his working habits, that's been a consistent, because he's dedicated to his job also, like my friend said. So I can totally understand what she's saying. And it's just a matter of them, I guess, weighing out, having a balancing act as to whether you're gonna, you have to prioritize your family life and your work life.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard.
Right.
Yes.
What about you? Have you discussed his career and his goals? You know where he wants to go in his career.
Yes, we have discussed a lot, and
And you understand this role.
and the funny thing about that, Trish, when he was stationed in Nassau, it was it was different because apparently, learning how things work within the system, it was you move around so much. So I didn't quite understand what all of the transferring and all of this was. Well, what happens? Well, this is my boss now, and that's my boss now. And so one day he had to sit down. Well, he still does it and tries to explain to me, listen, a police is never off. We are always on duty. We are always working.
Yeah.
We have to do things. So, and now that he's on the island, it's even worse because the community policing is, I mean, strong. Everybody calls upon him. His phone never stops ringing. He never has a day off, if you ask me. And he's working his hardest because, like I said, he loves his job.
Yeah.
The rewards, I don't see them. I don't understand them. I just know when promotion comes around, the time we've been married 10 years, and it's bothered me a lot of the times when he's been passed up. Now, as a wife, I feel like I'm an officer too, because I'm like, hey, I'm hurting. What's going on? He didn't get it. I'm bothered, and I don't understand what's going on.
You're saying
But
so much truth, man.
he
But
tries.
go
He
ahead.
tries
Yeah.
to explain it to me, and I still don't understand it. So I don't pretend to understand it. And he tells me, respect his job, and I do. I try to. Let me say that it doesn't happen all the time, and I have to pull myself back. But I know where he wants to be, and I know where he deserves to be,
Right,
because there's a difference.
right,
I know what he deserves,
right.
and he is not allowed that. Unfortunately, in my eyes. I only can speak from my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Man, you said some things just now. You said a lot of things. One, for me, I like to play police officer too, but I will tell you all about that after the break. So before we go on a break, I want to give a law enforcement officer a gift certificate, a $50 gift certificate, courtesy of Young Kings Barber Studio. Now, with Young Kings Barber Studio, they're located on Robinson Road. They do facials, haircuts with masks, presidential wave haircut, men's haircut with weave. I actually saw it on their website. They have a guy whose hair was bald on one picture, and then the next picture with him with nice waves. It's just
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
They cover up all of that. All right, kids' haircuts, they can cover up the grays. They know how to put the little black things on it. Yeah, they do that. And
All
so
right.
much
There
more.
you
Go
go.
check out their website to see some of their work, www.bmtheartist.com, bmtheartist.com, or give them a call at 431-6401. So I want a law enforcement officer, police, defense force, prison officer, customs, immigration. Call. This certificate is yours. what our number is? 328-8164. 328-8164 is the number to call. Let's go take a break.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop.
Hello to my Facebook audience. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's read some of the comments here. Dedication, commitment. Speak your truth, sister. That's Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Yes, that's it. This is good stuff, Mrs. Hannah. Hey, lovely. I guess these are your fans. I don't even know. But they are enjoying the show. I'm enjoying the show. So thank you so much to my Facebook audience. And listen, if y'all want to, you can take this opportunity. I sent the link to your WhatsApp.
Okay.
So you can share it to your page if you desire.
Okay.
All right.
I
And
will.
so what we're doing now is we're on our break. So those who are listening to the radio can actually hear our commercials, and those who are tuning in here on Facebook can see what we're saying. So let me share some things now, since certain things I may not be able to share on the studio on air for now, but being mindful that it's still going to be on YouTube anyway. So a couple
Right.
things that Charlene said. Yes, a police officer is never off duty.
Yes.
Absolutely
Neither
not.
is the
And neither
defense
is the
force.
defense force officer.
Yes.
Okay. Most law enforcement officers,
Yes.
they're never off. They're never off.
Mhm.
So I'm going to actually share when we get back on how when we're on dates, some things have to stop. I don't know if that ever happened to y'all while we heading out to
Phone
good,
never
I
stop
dress up
ringing.
in my good dress. All right, my good dress on, and something happened on the side of the road. Oh, we got to pull over to make sure everything okay.
Mm.
All right,
Wow.
that's how it
Yeah.
is be.
Yep.
And
Helping
honestly, I
Jesus.
could say that he has a heart for human people.
Right.
He really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand it at first. We 15 years in, going on 16 years in, and at first I used to just suck my teeth. I ain't lie. I used to suck my teeth. I mean, really? You can't find somebody else? You can't call somebody else to come on the side of the road to deal with the situation? You know?
Right,
But his heart
right.
is there.
Yeah.
His heart is for the people.
And it's awesome that we are highlighting these great law enforcement officers because, most persons, like, the stigma that they have is that all government workers are slackers.
Yes.
And we are proud to say that our husbands are hard
Hard
workers
workers.
and dedicated to the cause
Yes.
and are just great men.
Yes. 10 seconds. Okay.
Twice a day is all you need. Get those back right your first speed. Let's get some Listerine.
You're listening to Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna.
Welcome back. So on our break, okay, the names of our guests again, no problem. Charlene Johnson and Siobhan Smith. Okay, and then we have Angel Roll, who texts in her information from time to time. So I'm gonna go and look through some of her answers as well. So, ladies, we had an opportunity to see if someone, a law enforcement officer, even though this is a woman's show, we know they're listening. We know they're listening.
They better be.
They better. All right. We're giving you an opportunity 3288164 if you want to get a $50 gift certificate to Young King's Barber Studio. You can give us a call while we're going to continue on our next set of questions. So we asked the question, do you understand his position at his job and all of it entails? And are you still learning? And your answers were, somewhat. And yes, we're still learning. And so am I. I'm still learning as well. And so my next question, ladies, is what is one thing that you don't necessarily like about his duties, but you know that it is a part of his career?
The fact that he can like you said earlier, the phone is always ringing. So I remember this incident that I was preparing for the 10th anniversary, and the day I told him about it, he said, well, baby, I have to work. And of course I was mad, and I'm like, I'm going to have to call your boss and tell them to send somebody else because we're going away this weekend.
Wow. Oh. Ooh.
So, the fact that it's hard to plan sometimes because they can be called at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something you just have to learn to live with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I hope the ladies who, the girlfriends who want them, the law enforcement officers, to put a ring on it this Christmas. Yeah, they need to tune in.
Right.
Because they need to understand that when you sign on that dotted line talking about you want to get married to a popo or a defense force officer or someone like that, it's not easy, honey.
You gotta be strong.
Okay, you gotta be strong.
Built for strong.
Okay.
Built for battle.
So built for strong.
And she said built for battles.
Mm-hmm. No, because when they go through that battles, we battling too.
Yes.
But we ain't gonna talk about that right now because we want to have with you. We're gonna hear Charlene talk about some of the things that, or maybe one thing about his duties that you may not necessarily like, but that's a part of his career.
Well, I think, she touched on it. The trying to schedule time, and, I have a 9-month-old, our first baby girl. And, you want to know that they are spending that time to get to know daddy and get to know the ins and outs and all of that. But their job demands a lot from them. And that for me is something that I battle with.
Yeah.
Because I will be very transparent with you. When we went to the altar, the Bible said they forsake all others. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, that includes your job. Like, I'm numero uno, I'm priority. You decided to take me out of my mother's house. When I call, you answer. But there are times that the country calls.
Yeah.
And I must sit small until my name gets called. And it's not easy.
It is not easy.
Trish, I could be transparent.
It's
very
I could be
true.
real.
It's very
I
true.
know how you feel. It
Yes.
ain't like I don't know.
Of
I know how
course.
both of you feel.
Yes.
Okay. But because I understand when I sign my name on the dotted line, this is what is required because I met him as a police officer. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
not like I didn't know what was going to. Now, I still didn't know.
I
as
just want to
much.
say,
You
Like,
don't know
I saw the
until you
pretty
get
side.
into it.
And
The
so I
pretty
was thinking,
side.
right, that's the
Yes.
pretty
the
side.
pretty side.
You know, but when I got in it, I'm like,
It was different now.
it's
Not even
different.
different.
What is this?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, she answered the phone calls. The phone is, baby, this is a government call. This is a government phone. I got to answer the phone. I have to answer the
Mhm,
phone, blah, blah,
mhm.
blah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I had to adjust. There was
Yes.
a lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about us. I don't know. Women, because this ain't only just for police officers, wife, or law enforcement. When that phone rings 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you think we sleeping. We got one eye open because we
And-
thinking
and
that
we
eye can help us
listening.
help.
And we listen
So
it
we listening to tune in and see who this is.
in the
Calling,
background.
you know, but the good thing about my husband and stuff. But I mean, I can't help it all. He talks in the bed while we're on the phone, so he on the speaker, so I can actually hear what's happening sometimes. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But you know, and I'm confident enough of what he's doing, which is fine.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But the point is, the calls
Mhm.
at whatever time. Something happened, calls. Something happened, gotta go. Something happened, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
we on the roll. And then as I shared, what I was trying to was sharing on our break is when we're heading out to dates sometimes, and someone is on in distress on the side of the road, Superman pulls on the side to rescue who he needs to rescue.
Right.
And initially, and I'm being honest with you,
Right.
initially it bothered me until I got to that point where I understand this is his heart. This is who he is. This is the type of person he is.
Yes.
So he's going to stay and deal with the situation or try as much as he can to stay as long as he can until somebody else comes
Mhm.
and take over. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter because even though he may be a part of this particular area, you know, he could be in Jabim and if it's under the Bahamas, he can help.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. And that's
Yeah.
fair because
Mhm.
that's what they signed up for.
Yep.
All right. And so you spoke about you having your children. You had yours, your first child, the first year of marriage.
Yes.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yep.
All right. What was it like with your first child together? And how is it now with your children? Because you now have more than one, and you now
Yes.
have more than one with him. So how was it that first year with the child? And then how is it now?
The first year, like I said, it was good. The reason being is because I had my parents, my mom and dad, Ted and Michael Miller. May their soul rest in peace. But they were my backbones. They assisted me with the baby. They made sure that I would be able to rest because, like we said, like my husband would have to go to work, go to training, and all these other stuff. So they were my support during that, during the early years when we were having kids. But now the kids are all grown and
Party time.
we are empty nesters almost. Well, the baby is still at home, but she's supposed to be leaving soon. So we are just enjoying each other and having a good time.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yes.
You had help.
Beautiful.
Did you have help?
Well, actually during our first year of marriage, I got pregnant. Unfortunately, I had a miscarriage, which was he was at work, so that was traumatic. However, just a few months later, our first son together came along, and yes, I did have help. I have an extremely awesome support system.
That's
Beautiful village. You know,
Mhm.
my parents, Philip and Charlene McPhee.
Hey.
His mom came over actually when I delivered. And she was an awesome help. Awesome. And they, even to this day, my parents, there's no other like my mother and father. There's nothing else I can say. And also my sister she's their bonus mom, I call her.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, that helps. And with that, it helps our marriage. And that's the amazing thing. My family as a whole, the biggest family, because they take my children on like their own. They, you know, help us out as much as they can. And I think that is what is helping to sustain our marriage, our family as a whole. And that's what's needed. community, that
That's
love,
very important.
that's
Has to be a
extremely
village. It
important.
has
It's
to be a
paramount.
village.
And
Listen.
it's what's carrying us through. We're on
Hmm.
August will make 10 years. And like I say, you make it 10 years, give God thanks, because it's not easy.
Because y'all didn't kill each other
Definitely.
yet.
Hello.
Okay, y'all made it for a whole 10 years.
Yes,
Y'all can make it
yes.
for the next 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10.
There you go.
Okay, and beyond. So let me read something that Angel is typing here. She says, it's hard though, because I don't want to say he is the band, but anyway, it is because he doesn't show up for a pop band job or write music very much, then it wouldn't be a job. So I guess she's saying is his job mostly entails him being in the band as well, and the
Mhm.
band takes up most of the time. Okay, it has happened to us differently because he would have something planned in 2 or 3 days, and then he would come home and say, "We have another job." Yes, it was short notice, but nothing we could do about it. I get it.
Scheduling.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she's having scheduling issues with that. So I guess that goes with the question: what is one thing that you dislike about it, but you
Right.
know that he has to go ahead and do it? So I know it's a little bit of typo, so I try to read it as best as I can. But I know she's helping so much. We'll talk about that later, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that later.
Scheduling.
All right. So
is
the
major.
scheduling is an
Yes.
issue for her. All right, and I can understand that too.
Mhm.
But I wanted to ask her, Angel, if you're listening, no, I'll ask you that because I want to ask all of them at the same time. So let's read a live read from Lawrence. Lawrence Intimates in the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza has all of your lingerie needs. Okay, all right, with a wide variety of bras up to an O cup, panties, shapewear, baby dolls, and sleepwear. Let Lorraine's Intimates help you find your perfect fit. Lorraine's Intimates, located Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza, and they want to give a $50 gift certificate. And I'm doing this for a wife of a defense force officer. If you call in the show, I gotta help my defense force officers.
Yes,
wives out.
please.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I have to help y'all out. Because y'all be the ones who husband going out to sea
3
for them
months.
3 months and thing. Not that police officers don't do things like going on the islands, but y'all, how y'all make it? Listen,
Coping skills.
listen. If you and this is a bonus, I'm gonna put something else in. If he's out to sea right now, okay. If he's, I don't know how the schedule is, but if
Right.
he's out to sea right now, 328-8164. Even if he just came back, or if he's just a defense force officer, man. Let me stop being so
Okay.
strict.
Come on, my defense force ladies. Come on.
and
Come
call
through.
328-8164. You
Call
get a
the
$50
number.
gift certificate courtesy of Lorraine's Intimates. My question is, what are some of the fares that you have with your husband going and doing his duties? Go ahead.
The thought of him not returning,
Mm.
not coming back home to us. I always tell him, shoot the criminal. Don't be a hero, because I don't want to be a widower.
Oh. The fear of him coming back home.
The fear of him not coming back home.
Not coming back home.
Yes, I can piggyback off from that. That definitely is a fair. And while he lived in Nassau, one of the main reasons why I was so adamant on us relocating to Eleuthera was because he was stationed at Mobile, and being that first responder as an officer, whatever's going on, you're the first there, meaning you're in the
Right.
heat of it.
Right.
You're in the passion of it, what's going on right then and there. And a lot was going on. And I mean, even now there's so much going on. But I'll tell you a story, even with him being on the island, he was in a pursuit of a criminal, heard about it. And apparently the person must have discarded or whatever it was over the cliff. And my brave, stunning, you referred to Superman. But we need one that swims. Okay, jumps over the cliff into the water, into the shark-infested water. And I'm like, what exactly? I asked calmly when he was telling me the story, what exactly was going through your mind? Because you do realize You have a wife and children.
Exactly.
You know, and he said, when I got on land, I thought about it then. But no,
Because they have this
the
adrenaline.
instinct
Yes.
he has
They
is
have
just to police.
Police.
Right.
That's their job. That's
And
what
that
they do.
training just kicks right in.
Kicks right in.
He is a police.
Police. No, that they're serious ones who's work hard. Because if you notice, like, no matter what profession, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be wherever it is, anyone. You have some good, serious ones.
Yes.
And then you have the ones who just want a paycheck at the end of the day.
Exactly.
All right. That's why I said it like that. I gotta
and
be real.
You have to.
Okay. Now, Angel said one of her fears is death happening on the job for her husband because she's been having some dreams, and she's a dreamer. So it's so good for her to keep him covered. Oh
Mhm.
wow.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's important. Girl, we covering him with you. We bind that and rebuke that.
And then
So,
even with the
in the
pandemic,
name of
that was
My
was
thing is,
major.
what
Yeah, that
happens
was
as an
tragic.
officer, as a correctional officer? But I'm sorry, we still have somebody on hold. I am so sorry. Can you open the line? To my caller, they must hang up. Beats, you ain't being like Tony, man. You gotta do this to
Last
remind
time I
me.
did that, you said I was
gonna
distracted.
Yes, that is true. We gotta find some. We need to learn how to do sign language or something. I am so sorry to my caller. You can call back again 3288164. We right here talking, and she's just right here, just enjoying the thing. If you can call back. I am so sorry. All right. So my next question: are you satisfied with the amount of time spent together? Let's go. I can't. Is this the same person? Or is it somebody else? Your Lane Talk Show. Good evening. Hello. Hi. There you go. Hi, who am I speaking to? Come on, they need to hear the live. The live need to hear. You can't open it up so they can hear. Hold on, babe.
Yes.
I can barely hear you. Is there a way
When the
that?
lights are on,
Okay.
the speakers are on.
All right, so let me put you here by my mic so the listeners can hear. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I asked a few questions and I can't remember which one that you're calling for. Can you remind me?
And the wife of a law enforcement defense force officer, police officer.
Right.
Charlene is actually my husband's godmother, and we are tuning, listening just for her.
Okay, thank you for saying that. I feel good. Thank you so much for calling. All right, so you are a wife of a defense of what law enforcement? Say it again.
Poitier.
He plays in the
She's a
Plays in the
defense
police
force?
man.
She's a police.
He's police force.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do, Beats, was put it here so that the person's on
You're making an echo.
it's an echo? Okay. I was trying to do that there so the persons who are listening via Facebook was able to hear. All right, so you won yourself a $50 gift certificate courtesy of Lorraine's Intimates in Harbor Bay. You said your husband plays for the police band. And you just had a baby.
Oh,
Yes,
congratulations.
yes, my godson.
Congratulations to you. All right, so what I'm going to do is if you can just be on hold just for a couple of seconds, we're going to ask our producer to get your name and contact so they can get you the information for you to receive your gift. Okay, congratulations and thanks for calling, and please tune in. Thank you. Please tune in, even though Charlene is not going to be on the show next week and the week before that, because you got. I appreciate that, and guess what? She appreciates that too.
Yes.
Blessings
Shout out
to
to
you.
Stanley
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thanks
and
for
his
tuning
beautiful wife.
in. Thank you. Beats. Gotta get together. So, ladies, what we talking about now? My question to you is: are we satisfied, or are you satisfied with the amount of time spent with each other?
I'm not. And the reason why I say that is there's always something that has to be done.
Mm.
So the fact that that's probably the 5% out of the 95%, when I look at the whole relationship with my husband, I always say, well, nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. So that little 5% is something that I can't hurt my head about, but I must say that he's working on it. We talk about it all the time, and he's making an effort to ensure that We go on date nights and all that good
I
stuff.
love it.
So it's just a matter of communication
It's just about
and
communication.
trying to make each other happy
Absolutely.
and compromising.
That's important.
That's the key word.
That's the key there. No, because it takes a lot of compromising and sacrifice.
Definitely.
Look, I can't wait to hear it. Because Charlene been blinking from the time I asked this question, Lord. All right, so let's hear what she has to say.
Definitely not.
So no.
It's a no.
Okay.
It's a no for me.
Mhm.
My love language is quality time.
Ooh.
So you can see where that's a
Ooh.
problem. So, with every test, there's a testimony. And my mother has this saying, for every battle, God equips you. So you're equipped. And I'm like, Mommy, boy, let me tell you, because she have a special seat on the side of Jesus. That's Charlene
I know.
McPhee.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I tell her it's a struggle, because when your love language is one thing and
Yeah.
that means you don't feel loved.
Right.
And so he tries his best to reinforce or to assure me that, it's the job, it's the job, it's the job. But like I said previously, it's a battle for me in my mind and in my heart to say, well, if I'm number one, where do we place this job?
Mhm.
I don't wish to be number two or second fiddle to nothing, no one, or anything.
Mhm.
So this is something that we have to constantly talk about, communicate. And sometimes, he doesn't even have that time to communicate. So I have to turn to my Lord above. And I said,
Blessed
Lord,
Savior, hold my hand.
take my...
Go on
That's
your
it there.
knees. Go on your
Go.
knees.
That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do.
Woo.
So I know about that. I know about the time. I know about the love language.
Mhm.
I and then we go through seasons. So 1 minute it would be quality time, and the next
Mhm.
minute I just want that affection. I just want that the touching. I just
Mhm.
want the affirmation. Like
Right.
my seasonal. I'm seasonal when it comes to my love language. I know that sounds weird, but we
Yeah.
it comes with age, I
Mhm.
guess.
Okay.
And in this particular time for me, because I'm a little bit more understanding now with
Mhm.
his role and his duty is
Your maturity
I'm
level.
maturing
Yes.
now and understanding that, hey,
Mhm.
this is what he has to do. And then, of course, he tries to make, as much as he possibly can, make ways
Mhm.
to maneuver how we could spend time. If it's just, on a lunch break, a quick lunch break. In the evenings when the kids are already asleep, let's go downstairs, let's watch some football. Like when I come after the show, I normally catch a little piece of football left with him and we
Mhm.
try to watch that together. Or, just something. Just
The
something
little
after
thing. It's
whatever.
the little
But
things
it's the
that
little
matter.
things,
Yeah.
But that quality time, you have to. That is paramount. You have to find time, especially, and you're being to talk for that because I have a time where I get to talk and I could be talking. All right. Guess what? I want to do another giveaway. That's just how it is. This segment is brought to you by Gerard's Babysitting Squad. And Gerard's Babysitting Squad is a professional mobile sitting service that babysits and caters to children ages 15 years and younger. They have a variety of packages to choose from, as well as custom group packages for events. What I want to do is I can get any law enforcement officer wife that wants to go on a date with their husband that needs to spend that quality time, but they having issues with finding someone to keep their kids. I know, but that I have experienced that. Now, even though yes, we do have a village as well, my village still working. My mommy still is a big time employee at Atlantis. So when she's off, then she can keep them. If she's not off, ain't nobody watching them.
Right.
Now they're old enough now where I have my neighbor that comes in and watches them for us. But at that
Okay.
time in our lives,
Right.
while we were, still doing whatever as husband and wife, we've missed lots of
Mhm.
funerals, lots of weddings, lots of
Mhm.
events, because it was a point in that season where if you ain't going, I ain't going. We going together.
Right.
Now, okay, I can watch them, you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we call the neighbor, you could come watch them so we can go together.
Right.
But
right.
whatever it is, you need to find time to spend with each other. If you don't, that relationship is going to deteriorate and you're going to disconnect, and you don't want that. All right. So
Right.
can I get a law enforcement officer's wife? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Make sure now the children have to be less than 15 years, obviously. Don't go try to put you up, and make sure they ain't baby kids. You know what I'm saying? Who's be flying around on the ceiling and saying, "Oh God, please don't do this to my friend." All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, 2 children or more, And of course, if you have more, I mean, 2 children or less, and if you have more kids, then of course that's on you if you want to pay for that third child. But the number to call is 328-8164, 328-8164. We're giving you an opportunity if your issue is having a babysitter. Okay, we're giving you an opportunity to have a professional babysitter come and watch your kids for you, so that you can go on a date with your husband. Now let's move on. My question is, what are some of the challenges that you think wives are faced with today, with being a law enforcement officer's wife?
Well, generally speaking, I think the challenges come when there's no communication in the relationship. And like I said earlier, you have to be able to communicate your dislikes and your likes so that you would know what your partner wants to avoid any challenges that come along the way in the marriage. You're gonna have challenges, but you're gonna have to be able to know how to cope with them, or how to how to deal with them, pretty much.
What are some of the challenges you think that they
Well,
facing?
one of the challenges I feel as a wife of a police officer, they have to re-engage. They have to do the medical, they do their weight, they do all of the blood work and all of that. But psychologically, I think they need also to have someone to speak with, like on a consistent basis, because they see a lot. They do a lot. They deal with a lot, even within the police department, and also when they have to deal with criminals and other things that they have to deal with. And I think that's what that stems from. Once their mind goes through a lot, and then they have to come home to a family. So I think what wives deal with a lot of times is that having to help them balance that work and home life. And as wives, we would try with the communication, but sometimes it's hard for them to communicate because they can't tell us everything. They can't reveal a lot of things, and they internalize it, and that can become a problem, because we know when something's wrong with our husbands.
Definitely.
We know when they feel a certain way, but they can't tell us. Something happened to them, but they can't tell us. And so I think they need to find, I don't know, an outlet,
a therapist. And I'm not certain if there is one. So if there is, then I don't know. Someone,
like I say, I'm learning
too, right?
But other than alcohol, let's be real. So they need to find some way, shape, or form to have that outlet, so that the relationship internally, everything can flow better, because that men on the whole have communication issues. And we want to be honest. So, and that comes to maturity, yes. But with that type of job, their job title and things that they have to deal with, I just feel it's a little bit more that they would need. A little more structured, counseling, structured talking. And I think that would help a lot as wives for us to understand, okay, he needs his outlet. Babes, let me give you a minute. Let me give you a day. Let me take the kids. You get your break. And you go and deal with it properly, effectively.
I know they do have a force chaplain. And I know Defense Force has a force chaplain. A really good one. Awesome good one. kudos to Pastor Raymond Wells. All right. Apostle Raymond Wells. He's doing an awesome job. Awesome job. I've seen his posts and what he does. And listen, one thing about Apostle Wells, when he in. He ain't half stepping. He going all the way in. One time I see him walking, doing runs with the Defense Force officers. One time he was seeing the water. I don't know, they was doing something. He doing everything what they doing. All right. So kudos to Apostle Wells. You're doing an awesome job. And then I'm not certain who's still the chaplain for. Is it still?
I think Father Davis.
Is he still there?
I think he's still there.
Right, but I'm not attached to his Facebook account. I'm not really sure what's on. But when I used to be around the police training center, I used to see his face always, just in and out, just dealing with people and talking to people. He's awesome as well. But of course, there's more to that. We need more. Maybe a few therapists on board, just to hear what these men, and coaches on board to hear what these men are thinking and saying and doing and experiencing. like Charlene stated, they won't be able to tell us everything, and
Right.
they can't tell us
No.
everything.
Then, yeah.
All right. So, so Angel, our correctional officer's wife says, there's always room for improvement. It's a love language for me as well. I guess she thinks time spent, because yes, quality time means so much to me now, especially since it's not us anymore, but a 6-month baby boy and basically 2-year-old girl. So,
Oh, wow.
ooh,
Ma'am, I know the
child.
struggle.
Ooh, okay, so she has 2 kids under the age of 2,
Mm.
where she's already struggling just to keep that quality time with her
Mhm,
family,
yeah.
because her husband not only is a correctional officer, but he also plays in the band.
Wow.
All right, so this is what we go through.
Yep.
This is what we have to deal with, and see, people don't understand that.
Mhm.
They won't get married to any officer, anyone who have on a uniform.
Mhm.
Child, that's mine.
Mhm.
Take him then.
Hello.
When you take him, I hope you have the blood of Jesus from the crown of your head
To the
sole
sole of your
and
feet.
You
understand
have to
it,
be
'cause this come
anointed.
with something.
You have to be
You just, it
anointed.
ain't just no, because this come with things. All right. So that is what I wanted to share. And then we're actually going to have hopefully a surprise guest come on about 7:15. So what I wanted to do before then is to give a little talk to the audience moment. All right. So just before I do the talk to the audience moment, no, I'll probably do that after the break. Let's do that after the break. That way we
Okay.
give our guests an opportunity to sign in. So let's take a break and we'll tune in right after this.
I had to play the song going into the break.
What's that?
You know about it.
Pete, what you know about it?
I heard it before.
Now you gotta turn it down because you know Facebook is going. Oh, this Wendy. Oh, turn that off. They can't do nothing. They still is mess up. Yeah, but they still gonna do the rights.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Anyone else, you probably could get away with it, man.
But not
Guys
Wendy.
and Rick,
They have that on lock.
lock
I
it up.
got you. Yeah, you gotta turn that down. Sorry to my Facebook listeners and audience. You can't
Oh,
hear
yes,
this one,
yes.
but you can hear it on the radio. So that's what we working. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Do we have our guest logged in yet? You want to check?
yeah.
Let me check on. Let me check on her. I told her 7:15. It's only 7:03, so I'm just letting her know to be on standby. It's an animal. Everybody, y'all ladies, y'all good?
Yeah, we good.
Good, we're
You know
good.
what y'all said about the need for like mental health
Right.
support?
Yes.
So true. It's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That that old saying of the best and cheapest psychologist is
Rum.
Is rum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's him. And it got to the point where he actually was discharged from the force because
Drinking.
of drinking.
Wow.
Mm.
And I mean, as a kid, you don't look at it at the time as
Right.
but looking back on it, it's really kind of sad to know that.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I
This
know
mom was struggling with something.
pretty
and
much. Yeah.
They just decided to say, well, you go do what you think rather than.
Well, the Defense
She's
Force
fine.
has several persons who have been struggling with alcohol, and they would send them to the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center. They would like do a weaning process, and they're very functional back into the force. So
That's good.
that is something that
That's really good.
can happen or is happening now. So
Maybe he had that option and he took it.
But
yeah.
how long ago was that?
I
I thought
was
they
just
had
gonna
that
say.
option.
I was more than 10 years.
Check StreamYard for me,
I
please.
look at it.
Oh.
Nobody
Yeah.
She's saying the internet service is terrible on her end. She's in Auckland.
else. No, she gets it.
Okay.
Ready?
Welcome back. So, yes, we are speaking for those who are just tuning in to two beautiful law enforcement officers' wives. We have Siobhan Smith, who is, yay, she's probably because she
Yeah.
know I remember her name, of course. Okay,
Yes,
now
you
I'm good,
did.
I'm good. All right, she's a wife of a Defense Force officer, Chief
Force Chief
Force
Terrence
Chief
Smith.
Terrence Smith, and then we have Charlene McPhee Johnson, who is the
Ma'am.
wife of a police force officer,
Yeah.
McNeil Valentino Johnson. I remember the whole government name.
That's right.
All right.
1774.
And guess what? These
She
are
knows the numbers.
these are proud wives. They're proud. They're
Yes.
proud of their husbands. You know, they're proud of where they've come from. They're proud of where they're going. All right. They're proud of the fact that they serve so well, and they serve our country as well. And so I want to salute you wives, because it takes a really good wife for a really good law enforcement officer to go out there and do their duties, I believe.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
I can tell you, if we were to be the ones to cause stress at home, then they can't really function as much as they really want to, because they stress out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so the fact that let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to give you a talk to the audience moment to save some time. I believe that everyone so far is being blessed by what you ladies are saying. I'm reading it now. They're blessed by what you're saying, and they're blessed by your transparency. Now, the first thing that I want to say to law enforcement officers' wives is you have to pray for understanding. All right. Most of us, when we meet them already in their careers. All right. Some of us may not, we meet them probably after, but it doesn't matter. I mean, before, but it doesn't matter. The point is, you already know that, hey, this is what they want to do. This is the work that it comes with. Now you have to ask for understanding. You have to pray for understanding and communicate so that he can tell you what it is that he's doing and how it is that, some days he'll be able to assist with things. Some days he won't. Some days he'll be available. Some days he won't. If you don't have understanding, there will always be chaos. There will be chaos because you want to feel as if, and as Charlene stated, you like this job more than me. You know, this job, you need to find out who comes first. And guess what? Priority is your home first. Your wife is the priority. But there are moments when, because of what's going on in our country and circumstances,
control.
We don't hear what's going on here. Every 2 seconds we had a siren moving up and down here. And then, of course, as her husband is on another island, a whole different island away from her, she's in a point where she understands that, hey, he has to be transferred, and this is what has to be done for the betterment of our family for now, but this too shall pass. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand what his job entails. It ain't no 9 to 5 where you just sit there and you think that he's just sitting up, kicking up, sucking up air condition. This man is out there working.
Yes.
All right. And as we've stated before, there is no 9 to 5 job. It's 24 hours. That's how it is. No matter where it is, where he's positioned, he will always be a defense force officer, a police force officer, a correctional, Bahamas correctional officer, etc. Customs. That's just how it is. Find out his vision. Where does he want to go? And when you find that out, you help support him and get him there. Maybe this is what you have to do. Let's work on it. Don't stand in his way. All right? Support him, push him. Sometimes he may feel discouraged. Sometimes he may get the promotion. Sometimes they may overlook or surpass that at that moment for him in that season. That's okay, baby. You're doing an awesome job. All right, just you continue at it. Guess what? They may not see it now, but I see it. And guess what? At some point, they're going to notice you. They're going to notice what you're doing, and you're going to get it. All right, you have to encourage them. Police, I have seen it. I have seen times. I have colleagues who was to the point where they were so discouraged they didn't want to work anymore because they were oversighted or missed because of the promotional season or periods that they have. It could be very devastating. All right. So what are we going to do? We're going to encourage them.
Yes.
We're going to tell them, look, maybe they didn't see you now, but that's okay. You continue doing what you do and you be your best.
Right.
On whatever it is that you do. All right. Stand by him, push him. Don't be in the front. Don't block him. Watch out for stress. Watch out for complaining. Watch out for you nagging him all the time. When he comes home from work, it's already chaotic out there. All the sirens, all the murder, all the criminals, because these criminals now, honey, they don't have no care for nobody.
Exactly.
All right. So what's happening now is when our husbands are coming home, you make sure that there is a peace haven there. You make sure that things are not chaotic there because it's enough out there. All right. You want him to come home and stay home and feel good when he's home. You don't want him to have to leave from work to go to the bar or go somewhere else or go at somebody else's house. You understand what I'm saying? You want him to be home. And so what that takes, that entails having to make sure that he's fed, having to make sure that the place is clean, having to make sure that, hey, This is what I used to do. So I know I'm wrong, but I just let you know. When my husband used to come in the door, this was years now. I used to hand him the baby, here, tiger it, and run. Okay? Because I had them all day. Is your turn, tiger it. But now I have noticed and I've come to realize that sometimes they are going to need that space. They're going to need that time. They're going to need to detox. Let me tell you why. Because if they don't, they come in here and they're treating you and they're talking to you like criminals. Hey, you need that at the door. Okay. All right. So
180.
whatever.
Try
what
it
you're
again.
going to have to do is, bear with them for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Give them a little time to detox. Give them a little
Right.
time to get that little space. Give them a little time. And then when they catch themselves, when they'll come and they'll talk and they'll do whatever it is that they need to do when their duties, but give them some space.
Right.
We have our hectic jobs too. We do.
Mhm.
So don't make it seem as if I don't want no women's rights come from me today. All right, we're busy women too. We have careers, we have children, we deal with the homework, we cook the food, we clean the house, and all these different things. All right, don't get me wrong, but you
Right.
understand what I'm saying, especially of a wife of a law enforcement officer. Stop complaining, start praying. There are going to be some things that you don't like. There are going to be some things that they do for their jobs and things that you feel as if you're left out. You feel as if that you're not being heard. All right, communication is important. If this is how you feel, tell him. But you say it in a respectful way. You talk
Right.
to him, hey, let's communicate. I'm having an issue here. Can we spend some more time together? Can you find some time for me? Okay. Make time for each other. Be intentional about scheduling lunch dates, dinner dates, whatever you can possibly do because you want to maintain that marriage. We're not going to be statistics. We're not going to be the statistics of divorce. All right. Marriage is work. All right. For those who want to be wives of these law enforcement officers, you're going to have to understand that it's not just, okay, there are going to be some times that you're on a date, perhaps, and he has to leave. There are going to be moments like that. There are going to be moments when you're planning something and you want to do something and you're supposed to be somewhere and he's supposed to be watching the children and then he gets calls in to go and do something. Anything can happen. There's an emergency that can happen at any time that he has to leave.
Right.
And you can't get mad. That's the man's job. Do you still want to be a wife of a law enforcement officer? Let me know. And so I think I want to also talk to the husbands. For those who may be listening, if your wife, I want you to understand your wife is paramount. Your wife is very important. So we understand now, hopefully you'll have an understanding wife to know what her role is and what your role is and what your job entails. However, you have to find time, make time. Once again, communicate with her. This is what is going on with me. This is what's happening at my job. Fill her in. Let her feel important. Fill her in as much as you can, because I know some information cannot be said, but fill her in so she can feel as if she's a part of you. All right, that y'all are doing things together. Okay, let her feel like, hey, even though I may not get all of his time, let me at least hear what's happening on the job. I like to hear them stuff. You like to hear them stuff? I like to hear. I know Z, but I like to hear them stuff. All right. And listen. Sometimes when pillow talk. All right. Listen to what your wife is saying. Sometimes she says things, and then sometimes she's not saying something. But listen more closely to what she's not saying. Look at her body language. She's hurting about something. She's concerned about something. It's not all about you. It's not all about you and your job. All right. Understand what your house needs and stick with that. You took her, as Charlene stated, out of her one good parent, a good parent house, talking about you about to marry her. So now you gotta, not only are you, and I understand that you want to work so that you can support your family, but you ain't gonna have no family if you always working.
Preach, preacher.
Okay. All right. So I'm just giving you little tips here. Just we want the marriages to work. We want to say that we have really good law enforcement officers' wives or marriages. We want it to work. And these are just tiny little tips here. And all of these things that I'm telling you are things that I've experienced. So I'm just making things up as I go. I am a wife of a police officer. So I know the experience. I've been there and I'm still in it. Okay. But I could say that it comes with working things out. You have to do things together, talk about it. And there's something too that men don't always express themselves. All right, or when they do it because they're a little more prideful, a little on the prideful
Mm.
side.
Yep.
And so what we have to do is not only do we have to understand that as well, but see if we can find ways for him to have a safe haven. Like
Mhm.
we're gonna have to make it possible for him to be open and transparent and
Right.
vulnerable with us.
Right.
All right. When it comes to them telling us things that they may not, or not supposed to be sharing,
Mhm.
don't tell that to your sister.
Mm.
Don't tell that to your cousin. Don't tell it to your best friend.
Mhm.
Let him be able to trust you.
Right.
Let him trust you with his life. Let him trust you with some issues that he may be going through.
Mhm.
You'd be surprised at the things he share.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
For premarital or marriage coaching, life coaching, go onto my website www.yourlanelifecoaching.com. If you log on now, I will give you a free consultation. And for those who are planning to be engaged or engaged,
Mhm.
I have this. I'm a certified SYMBAS facilitator. SYMBAS stands for Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. So you don't want to just pick up and say, I'm about to marry a defense force officer, I'm about to marry a police officer, I'm about to marry all these other law enforcement officers. I don't know what you're dealing with.
Mhm.
You have to get some type of premarital coaching, counseling, something that you need so that you can understand that, hey, what happens when we're going through issues where he doesn't communicate? What happens with in-laws? What happens with our social skills, our spirituality, and our expectations? Because we all come into marriage thinking that something is gonna, we have our expectations,
Right.
and then in most cases we're disappointed because it's nothing like what
It's
we
a
thought.
fairy tale.
Exactly.
It's
Okay.
a fairy tale.
All right, so you're gonna need that. You can need that
Yeah.
little thing. www.yourlanelifecoaching.com. All right, so guess what? Can we look on there? Okay, she's having internet problems. Let's talk, ladies. Let's talk about any of y'all. This must be only me, but any of y'all ever pretend to be a law enforcement officer yourself, like on the street, just because your husband is a defense force or your husband's a police? No way.
No, I
No,
did no from the
What?
break.
Yeah.
No, I would not pretend.
Okay.
I can't pretend. I cannot. Their demeanor, their stamina, I just don't have. I don't have that decorum. They have to present themselves and they have to conduct themselves. Listen, you doing something that you shouldn't be doing. I'm gonna try to be diplomatically correct, but if you come at me a certain way, how they can't do certain things because it's called police brutality. Oh no, if you being silly, some people just need the rod of correction. So I can't pretend. No,
Okay. So no. Okay, so it's just me.
it's just you.
All right, so it's confession time. All right, so 2 times. This happened 2 times. The first time, and all of this was, well, let me be honest with you, just 2 years ago. All right. So,
Pandemic?
no, watch what I can say now. I do nothing bad. So, 2 years ago, I know what I'm saying. I was driving on the airport road, right? And I saw this, them little hatchback, little March, one of them.
Yes.
And this, my producer's like, oh my God. I got, so the boy looks about 5 or 6, and he was hanging out the window.
Oh Lord.
Okay? And so I pull up on the side where the car is marching. I pump the horn. Hey, pull this car to the side and strap up this little boy. I didn't say who I was. It doesn't matter. I mean, yes, my vehicle looks like a police officer's vehicle.
Okay.
I never told her that I was a police officer, but I said it in a very authoritative way.
Right.
And she sure did pull over to the side and strapped up the young boy. All right, so my second, I could confess now. Now, I might get in trouble when I get home, but I will confess. The second one, this was on Doswell Street. There's a bakery on Doswell Street that always have people there.
Right.
This particular person decides that they want to park in the opposite way of let me see, how do I explain this? The bakery is on, like if you're heading, the bakery's on the right hand side if you're heading west, right?
Right.
So the car is, you know how we drive, right?
Yes.
So the car parked on the right hand side as well, right? So I'm coming up, but the car is parked in the front of me, in front of the bakery. All right. So I pulled over, and the guy was already out because he's standing outside trying to wait for his time to get inside. So I go, I am leaving, But if I come back here and I meet this car here, you gonna know. And he sure did move the vehicle. Once again, I never said that I was a cop. I just had my
You
way
have
of
law enforcement
that,
training.
right? But let me tell you something. I ain't gonna ever do that again because I know how that is, and I know my husband.
I'm sure
Yes,
you
But
were
I'm
gonna
just saying,
get
I
it.
don't know. It's just that was in me because you know you
Right.
feel as if you have that little something, and you
Right.
see
It's,
things
it's a little
happening,
power.
right? A little power, just a little bit. But I ain't do that no more. I ain't do that no more. That's my
Please
little
don't.
confession. No, I ain't do that no
Okay.
more. But in both cases, I realized that it was done. They did change. And I think it was the more motherly instinct
Right.
with me.
Yes.
regarding
The
the
first
child
instance,
coming
yes,
out and head
definitely.
out the window
Yeah.
on the airport road.
As a
Mhm.
concerned citizen.
Let's keep it
There,
up.
there
Do
you
we
go.
have citizens arrest around here? Because y'all need to give me one
know.
handcuff.
I don't know if you need that.
No?
I don't think you need
Okay,
that. Your
fine.
voice is enough. Because if you
That's
got
enough.
that gentleman to move,
I got him to move.
I think that's enough.
I said I'm going and come back and this vehicle better be gone.
You're well equipped.
And the vehicle was gone.
Yes.
Okay. so
That I think
They
your
won't
husband's
take me.
rubbing
They
off.
won't take me serious because I talk too soft.
I'm sure they have soft-spoken defense force and police force officers too.
Sure.
Your authority is in your. Well, I didn't have on a uniform, so I can't even say that. I don't know badge. I don't nothing. All right. And so that's interesting. That's interesting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break because we're gonna wait on our guest. Now she's having some technical difficulties right now. She's right here telling me that. It's saying it won't access StreamYard site. I was watching on your Facebook page. It won't allow me to log on the StreamYard site. So let's take a break so that we could get her sorted out. All right. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to give my guest a call to see how we can help her.
Yeah. Just tell her she.
Okay. So y'all can talk to the Facebook audience, please. Let me see if I can get. Hello, lovely. How are y'all? So it's saying my producer is saying that
Hello.
you have to
Special shout out to
you have to
Ramon Poitier. I think that is, let me get it right, Sergeant Ramon Poitier. And Stanley, that's Constable Stanley Poitier. Shout out to you and your new baby. Special shout out as well to my parents, of course, like I said before, Reverend Dr. Philip McPhee and Charlene McPhee. And to my kids, Caleb McPhee, Kanan Johnson, and Christina. Mommy loves you.
Who gave Charlene a mic? Who gave Charlene a mic?
With that being said,
so
I'd like to shout out to Force Chief Terrence Smith. I love you, honey, and I know you're listening to me. And my beautiful daughters, Tyler and Tashay. Mommy loves you and continue to listen.
Yes, and you know, I have an uncle who's on the defense force. A few family members, you know, Kenny Saunders. I don't even know his formal name. I know he'd be like, "What? You don't know my title?"
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Right. But to 1774, Sergeant McNeil Johnson. Hope you're having a wonderful night and listening to your beautiful wife and watching. I hope they're allowing you to, if you're not at work.
And shout outs to my Royal Bahamas Defense Force family.
Oh yes, to them all. Kudos to the wives as well, because I know it's not easy.
Especially the wives.
Someone said I went and oh my goodness, I can't wait to come back on. So we have people who acting like police for true. Someone said I went and stopped traffic to let a lady out.
That's hilarious. I feel like
okay, so how can we do it in a way? Okay, so that the person's online can hear. Because mom, this goes on YouTube as
and
well. That's very important. I know Tony used to have it on the house.
Lisa McPhee Brown, the best social worker in the world. I hope you're tuned in and listening. That's my sister.
So
Come to the
if I put her on to get her on these speakers, those speakers automatically turn off the minute your mic is on. If I keep your mic off, on air, nobody was going to hear us.
Mm.
We'll hear online, but not on air. We
Okay,
can do that on a break, but if we're on,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it. So let's find a way where the persons who are listening on, because this is where I put my stuff on YouTube. So let's find a way where even
Yeah. I actually
turn it
think
down so they don't mute my thing. We on? Are we on hold?
Online,
I mean, we're still.
online, they should still be able to hear because it goes through the official lines.
Okay.
They still be able to hear.
All right. So persons who are listening, do me a favor. As soon as we have our guest on, let me know if you'll be able to hear her from me, please, because she's calling in. We're having technical difficulties via internet. So she's not on yet. See if we can get her in. Let me talk to her real quick. See if she's good.
Oh, you want to talk to her now?
Yes, please. Just before we go, but just make sure she's good. She can hear me and everything.
Good.
Mrs. Ferguson, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that was loud. Excellent. Thank you. So when we get, we're on a break right now, and as soon as we get back on, I'm gonna introduce you. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much for your patience.
okay.
One,
Welcome back. Guess what, guys? So we had a Facebook post that says, "Yes, I went and stopped traffic to let a lady out." Now, see, I ain't that brazen. Good child, listen. And then someone say, "Child, you can't do that these days." That's true. You can't do that. But I'm sure that there are people who try to act, it's a crime. But all right, let's keep that there. We wives, yeah. All right, so guess what? I have a special guest with us today to end this show. Her name is Mrs. Dulcita Ferguson. She's the wife of past commissioner, Mr. Reginald Ferguson. Hey, they have been married for 51 years. Mr. Ferguson has served the Royal Bahamas Police Force for over 44 years, and he recently retired in January of 2010. All right. Now I asked Mrs. Ferguson how many kids. She has 4 sons, 2 daughters-in-law, and 6 grandchildren. All right. Welcome, Mrs. Ferguson. How are you?
Thank you very much. Very well.
Excellent. So, Mrs. Ferguson, I just want to thank you, first of all, for being a part of the show. And of course, I selected you because you've been down this road. You've been there. You passed where Charlene and I are presently, and we just want to just get as much wisdom, and for those who are listening, from you, and as much as we can, because I'm most certain that this does not just all the struggles and the challenges that we have as wives are not just us. I'm sure that you've experienced a few as well. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, though, was Mr. Ferguson, was he a police officer prior to you being married?
Yes.
Okay, so you already know you came into that.
I didn't get that.
You came into him already married. You already came into the whole system of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. You married into that.
I married into that.
So, okay, how did you cope? How did you cope during your first year of being a wife of a law enforcement officer?
Well, it was not too much of an adjustment, really. Like Charlene said, I'd like to say good evening to your guests, if they can hear me.
Good evening.
She seemed to have quite a few things in common, just like I did,
Mhm.
when I was newly married.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not really attracted to a police officer. It was one of those persons that I said, I don't want to get married to a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
But when I met him, he was
Not in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
a police officer. I never really saw him as a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a police detective at the time, working out of CID.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some challenges when in our first year of marriage. The hours were very long because he would go out to work sometimes in the morning and would not come back home until very late at night. And early in the marriage, I used to say, "But do you have to work that long?" And early that this job is a 24/7 job.
Yes, it is.
And so, you know, I got inducted or introduced to his working hours very early.
Awesome. So, did he? When you, I know you said that he stated that he tell you, look, my job is a 24/7 job. But has he ever discussed, or did he ever discuss his goals with you, where he wants to be, what he wants to do, in the police force?
Not really. All he told me when we got married, he said that he had a vision from a young boy that he was supposed to be a police officer. And he was so compelled, he was so passionate about his job. I just had to take it for what it was.
And how supportive? I mean, you said you just taken it for what it was, but how were you truly that supportive with him from start to finish, or were there moments?
Yeah. I went along with all the things that he had to do. You know, he was very, very busy in those days. He spent a lot of hours on the streets, especially at night. And I used to be home alone most of the time until the children came along. When I was by myself, I would get a cousin to come and spend the night with me because I was afraid to sleep alone. But after the children came along, I had a little more comfort in the home because I had company, and then they would be crying and making noise, you know.
Wow. Wow, I can understand the loneliness sometimes too. As us, you know, we have those moments. We do have those moments. So, Mrs. Ferguson, another question that we wanted to find out from you is, were there any fears? Did you have any fears? Not only because you said you were home by yourself at that time, at some point in time, but were there any fears concerning your husband that you want to share?
Yes, early in our marriage, like I said, he was working from the CID department. And I remember one day I was outside at the front of the yard in Hawkins Hill, where we lived at the time. We rented a small house there. And some guy came down the hill and said, "I am going to kill your husband." And I was so frightened. I dashed back into the house. He was in there, but I was so afraid. I dashed back into the house. And I called him on the telephone and I told him what this person said to me. And that's the kind of fear that I had, that, you know, his life would have been in danger.
Wow. So, yeah, that's really tough. And what were other challenges that you may have had as a wife pertaining to his job?
For me?
What are some of the other challenges that you may have had pertaining to his job as a wife?
Well, while the children were growing up, I was mostly left alone to sort of care for them. Like I said, work, spend those long hours, and then he had a stint with the former Prime Minister, deceased, Sir Lyndon Tindley, and they did a lot of traveling together, and it was very challenging because I didn't have any help with the children. I didn't have any close family that were living in New Providence. All of my siblings relocated to Freeport, and my in-laws, they were too young to help me with my children. So I had to sort of stand for myself on my own. I had an elderly aunt that used to look after them after school, but I had to do all the drop-off, all the pickup, all the extracurricular activities that they have. I had to take them to Sunday school, take them to church, it was a lot for one person. I tell you the truth, I used to become very, very frustrated at times. But thank God I had him on my side.
Oh my God. You see that? Jesus.
What a testimony.
You're gonna need him. You're going to
Yes,
need
yes,
Jesus. This
yes.
this journey is lonely without him. All right, you're gonna need him. You gotta have that relationship.
Yep.
What advice can you give us? I say us
I
because
need it.
Yeah.
She giving me goosebumps.
listen, because she done been in. I had to bring her here because
Yeah.
she passes.
Yeah.
All right, she had to go through this. She had more children than us.
Hmm.
All right. So, what advice can you give us as wives listening and tuning in with law enforcement officers, but then you have people, wives in general, who tuning in right now. To be honest, so what advice can you give us as women dealing with husbands who are serving this country?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for one, you have to have a good line of communication and understanding. If you cannot communicate, you don't have a marriage. That's what I would say. Because, like it was mentioned earlier, you need to know what your husband likes, and he needs to know what you like. That's a very important point in the marriage. Then you need to be supportive of them. Try not to be too overly anxious if they're keeping late hours. You know, a lot of people like to put a name to that. But you accept your husband. You continue to be the wife that you were supposed to be. Remember, you took a vow in sickness and in health,
Yeah.
and until death do us part. Divorce was never a word in my vocabulary, or in fact in our vocabulary. No matter how tough or rough things got, I never once thought about the fact that I needed to divorce this man, because I made a vow to live with him until I die or until he died. So you need to be supportive in that area. Try to do as much as you can in the house and do for the children before it is time for him to come home. So that when he comes home, you can have spare time to spend with him. I used to go home from work, help the children with the homework, bathe them for bed, feed them, dinner is prepared. So when my husband comes home, because it will be only him, sometimes I don't eat. I wait until he comes home. Sometimes it's late in the night, 9 or 10 o'clock. But I would wait. And then you put the children to bed, and then you can have time. But by that time, I am ready for bed, you know. And so you would come home and we would eat, and then we would have a little time to spend together.
Bless your heart.
Listen, and another reason why
She's
I brought
my
her
role
on
model.
board
She sounds
is
just
because,
like.
listen, I had to bring her on board
Yeah.
because, once again, she's been where all of us are presently, and she's still with her husband.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
She's seen her husband pass through the ranks. All right. Some ranks require more attention than others. Let's talk about the commissioner rank. Let's talk about the moments when he was commissioner and he had to he was being pulled at and going to different events and all these different things. And how are you dealing with that? I know there are some that you attended and some that you were unable to attend. How did that work?
To be honest with you, Anna, that was a very, very busy period of my life. Thank God all the children were grown and gone. It was just he and myself. I can remember, I think we spent about 2 years at the commissioner's house. And out of that 2 years, I think I had maybe 2 Saturdays that I could say I was free to do what I wanted to do.
Wow.
There were so many activities going on, several in a day. I could not even hang my clothes. I had a room that I just went and dropped my clothes and put on another suit. Just drop one suit and put on another suit. That's how hectic it was. Say to me, boy, I know you must be enjoying that. It must be so exciting. You'll get so many different places to go. So I used to say to them, I say, I would not say I'm really enjoying it, but I say there is a time for everything.
Thanks.
And while this is the opportunity for my husband to perform as commissioner of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, whatever he has to do and he needs his wife beside his side, I am prepared to be there with him. And that's how we went along for that 2 years. I would like to say though,
Yes, ma'am.
I would say that one thing I found with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, they are a family. All through those years, we got very good support from the police officers and the police force. In the late 1980s or early 90s, there was a lady by the name, who's still alive, Vanera Johnson, who's...
We lost her? Oh, she was having a really good, that was a
Yeah,
good,
that
good
was
story. Now,
powerful. That was powerful.
This is who we,
Oh.
this is who we need. You can call her back from the police for a second. Just let her, just to say bye. Let me give you a number. See if we can get her back on. But someone who's experienced, someone who's been there, someone with wisdom, someone who could be as transparent as possible with us, because she's been through much. She's been through all that with children by herself, you know.
And the thing that got me with her is that she said divorce was
not an option.
Not an option.
Okay,
that's
so
not a word
us,
that would come in her vocabulary.
How many of us as wives then bring up divorce because you ain't serious, but you ain't checking for me? I ain't but divorce you because you look at the toes being mashed all over the place, and in here quiet. All right, guilty.
Yeah.
And that's because we were, we didn't have much understanding.
In my younger days,
I
would give this ring over, and he said, the next time you give me that ring.
you took the ring off. Okay, let's go. Let's wrap up with Mrs. Ferguson. Mrs. Ferguson, are you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about that. You were telling us about the story with Mrs. Johnson.
Yes, Mrs. Johnson. I wanted to say this because it could be of interest for the new or the upcoming wives. He had a vision about starting an organization to support police officers, wives, and their families. We call the organization Police Officers, Wives, and Family Support Group. In the initial stage, I was a part of the formation of this organization. And what we did was we would call meetings and invite all of the officers' wives that we know that we can reach. Those who were interested, they came out. The main purpose was to give support to these struggling police officers' families. Because what we discovered at that time, there were many homes that were being fragmented. Husbands were leaving their wives were leaving their husbands, all sorts of family issues. And so we thought it prudent to start something where we can touch them a little closer. And the motto of the group was lending a helping hand. And what we did was, if there was a family who had an issue at home, like they had plumbing problems or they needed somebody to assist with picking up their children from school, we would call around in the group and see which officer was free and make the arrangement to assist that family. That's going to be a huge contribution to family.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Being your brother's keeper. That's a great idea.
Listen, and this is what we really and truly need. Mrs. Ferguson, thank you so much. You've been a blessing to us. You have enlightened us, and we can always cling in from wisdom, especially as young officer wives, because one of the things that we discussed while you got disconnected is you saying that divorce is not an option. And many of us as wives can say because we couldn't handle the pressure, we use that D word at least once in our marriage, at least once. And now we know we're mature, we're better. You know, we understand our role, we understand their roles, and we're sticking with it, and we're sticking through it, and we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna be their support system. We're gonna push them to where they want to go. And my final point for you, if you can tell us also, how should we as wives conduct ourselves being law enforcement officers' wives?
Well, let me leave First Peter chapter 3, verse 1
My favorite.
with you. And this is your guideline. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband, that if any obeys not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wise. Meaning, if you lack following after God's law, you can learn a whole lot from the wise who are walking circumspectly and are following after God's law. Just in your conversation, we need to encourage our wives rather than pull them down. We need to support the family because we have a lot of young families. They don't know much about raising a family. And so we who are older can talk to them and advise them in what they could or should do. And that would help to make life a little easier for them.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're gonna close now. We're gonna close now. But what I want to do, and this one is not gonna be a call in. I want you to text. You're gonna text this number 376-8689, 376-8689. I want to do a giveaway for a couple to win a Fusion VIP ticket. Law enforcement officer, obviously, and their wife. And I want to read real quick. Fusion Superplex is like no other entertainment facility the Bahamas has ever seen. Fusion Superplex features 9 next generation laser technology cinemas that includes 3 VIP theaters, IMAX and 4DX, a soft play children's area, teen and adult arcade, esports, candy room, coffee house, full service indoor and outdoor restaurant, event facilities for all occasions, an educational program, and Sub-Zero ice cream parlor. Go to their website to see what's playing this week, www.fusionsuperplex.com. I want you to be the first person to WhatsApp 376-8689, wife of a police officer, law enforcement officer, because I ain't trying to discriminate. All right. So let's see if we can do that. And those VIP tickets are all yours. I want to thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I have you to know that next week's show is entitled Divorced. How did I get here? All right. 3 beautiful divorced women share their stories, what they have learned, and willing to share tips on the errors that we who are married may be doing wrong, some things that we may be doing or not doing. They're going to share what they did or did not do so that we can get some insight on how to get it right, right? So we started off already early with Mrs. Ferguson telling us what to do and what not to do. So you want to tune in next week for that. A special thank you to my guests, Charlene, Siobhan, and of course, Angel. She had an input on the website, on WhatsApp. A special shout out to Mrs. Ferguson. Thank you so much for it. It was an honor having you on the show.
definitely.
All right, it was an honor. Thank you to Beats, who've been so patient with me. Thank you to my Facebook audience, for those who are listening to us for the first time. I hope that you were encouraged, inspired, encouraged, enlightened, and educated today. All right. I pray
Definitely.
that you, for those police officers' wives, law enforcement officers' wives, that you got something from today's show and that you keep on going. And if you're having any issues, the first thing that we could recommend is that you talk to God about it. You know, let Him direct you. Who should you go to speak to? Should it be a counselor? Should it be a pastor? Should it be a coach? Whoever you go to, speak to Him first so He can tell you what to do and how to go about doing it. So thank you once again. I pray that you all were empowered, educated, and encouraged today. And until next time, have a beautiful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
This is Hits 106.